Good morning, everybody. This is Connor from Futures Analytica, bringing you guys another live futures trading session. We're going to be jumping right into the day here. We're going to be switching into regression mode and arming it in both directions. We are trading ES futures. We're using the exact same setup as the Dropbox link. We just got filled into a short position. Oh, we only have an order quantity of 1. I'm going to be increasing that right now to 6, saving that as a template. There we go. Did that on the fly there. So unfortunately, that first trade, we only got $45.82 out of that because we were on one contract. So our first trade of the day is a bit of a miss there. But I just did that because as I was exporting that database file to you guys, I decreased the order quantity to 1 just because I think that's what most traders are going to be using when they start using Polarity. So I apologize for that, guys. Hey, WJ, your question was, hi, Connor, I'm able to train the prepackaged model with no problem. But when I try to train a new model, the train the model button doesn't appear, even though I've selected the model and the strategy. Any thoughts? Thanks. So I'm trying to understand what exactly this question means. You're saying you're able to train it, but, oh, you're trying to train a new model. So if you train a new model, you don't want to select the prepackaged model. You're going to need to either have overwrite on or I would suggest turning overwrite on if you're using that model because there's going to be a problem loading it. Hey, CK Edwards, the Dropbox link is the one you downloaded with Polarity, so it's just going to be the exact same Dropbox. That's going to be for customers only if that's what you're wondering. Calvin Fu says, do you recommend using auto arm or arm both? How is trend and regression mode determined in auto arm? So it's going to depend on your trading style and what your goals are. Personally, I don't really like missing large market moves, so I am going to be pretty much just using arm both. And because these live streams are somewhat short in duration, auto arm is going to require me to keep these streams on for quite a bit longer than I'd like to, and have my trading be much longer. So trend and regression mode are determined by you even in auto arm mode, but yeah. Looks like here we have a very, very strong correlation between delta and price here, so we're going to be switching that into trend mode. Hey Adrian, I am using the beta, same exact version as you, R9B. Oh, looks like we got into a trade there and we ended up winning that one. I didn't even see it. to 870 and 58 cents right now. We're watching delta in price, so even though we're inside of this range, we don't want to switch just yet. Even though traditional knowledge would have us switching into regression mode, even though we don't have that delta price correlation yet. But ES is a little different. I'd say ES is going to be mostly in trend mode because these imbalances hold up under scrutiny much better than on NQ. You can see here we're up to $1,100 on the day now, but trend mode is going to be a lot more reliable than it is on NQ, just because NQ is very, very whippy. And you can take advantage of that in regression mode, but it can be quite difficult to trade in trend mode. But this is, I'd say, much easier to trade, and you don't really have to worry about fill speed on ES. NQ is much more dependent on your system configuration and what your latency is than ES. So ES, I'd say, is just overall a better instrument for most people because they can just get filled right where the market's at compared to NQ. Where on NQ, you're losing about 3 to 4 ticks even with a proper setup. So you can see here that even though we barely got any movement, we still got that positive delta, which is pretty funny. Okay, there we go. We got our first divergence here. We're going to be switching it into regression mode. Hey, Blood Gang. Yes, you do need the AC4 Plus for the template to work. Thank you for catching that gap. I'm going to have to pick up a template for AC4 and have it be able to be added to that. The way you're going to be able to do this once I release that update to that template is you're just going to load the AC4 onto the chart, and then there's a second template option at the bottom right where you can load the ES or NQ version. So it's just going to be an extra step, but we ended up getting filled there and we ended up winning it. Sorry, I was reading the questions. Hey, Leandro, we will be sending out a trained model for ES. Thank you for the question. Just got filled into another short trade here. We still are getting divergences. You can see we had at 827, we had another divergence, and at 827, again, this 827 here, and again at 826. So we are definitely in the right mode, regression. You can see this is very clear cut. This is not subjective at all. Hey, Evan, thanks for the comment. Hey, congrats on that Corvette, though. I had that Corvette. I still have it. It's a sick car. Like, that car is awesome. So, congrats on that. But thank you for saying that. I'm really enjoying the McLaren. It's an absolute blast. It is so much fun. And you too, Mco Shivas. Thank you for the compliment. I'm absolutely loving it. I am already getting problems with it though. I have to take it to the dealership tomorrow. Already got a check engine light. Already the car would start a couple times. The engine wouldn't come on, but the electric motor would. So one time I had to limp it home in electric only mode for kind of a while. So barely made it home with like 2 miles of range to spare. And then somehow when I woke up in the morning, the car was fine. So in typical McLaren fashion, that's kind of what you have to deal with that ownership experience. But fortunately, it's got that 5-year warranty. So I still got some pretty good peace of mind. I just don't want to have it to sit in the shop for so long because obviously I bought it to drive it. Hey, Evan, thank you for that installation guide you uploaded. A little embarrassed that we had to wait for someone to do that, but we are working on our own as well. I will check out yours, and I'm sure that a lot of people will find yours helpful, so thank you so much for doing that. Hey, RV Bondo. So the ATM for ES is included in that template file that we have, but I'll pull it up right now. So we have it on 6-tick stop loss, 4-tick take profit, and our stop strategy. We actually have that selected on none, so I'm gonna be having to fix that after this. But you definitely do want to have a stop strategy for it. Also, guys, I'm just curious, would you guys be interested in a VPS that we could provide? I know that a lot of you guys have been wanting to look into that, especially people who don't have the best internet connection. And we've been looking into exploring options because I do use a VPS and it helps me out a lot. And it would give you guys the same parameters that we do in that. Um, I'd say that, so I'm trying to look at making it more cost effective though, because right now I think it would be out of the price range for pretty much everyone. But with the same specs, if we had crowdsourced it, if we got a minimum number of people, I think we could get it down to $120 a month, which I know is not a small amount of money. And there's not really that much of a margin here, but of course we'd be providing support and um, the nature of running a business. So we'd want to see if you guys would be interested in that before you even try it. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, so give me some feedback. Hey, V Roggles. This chart is similar to the bookmap footprint chart. I know bookmap does have a little bit more in terms of features, but this is just a footprint chart with derived zones. Bookmap's great. It's just that I found that a lot of it was filled with somewhat a lot of clutter for me, for my trading style. I know that a lot of discretionary traders do like bookmap quite a bit. So not just in the platform, but I found this gives me the critical information I need to know a little bit better. Let's see here, we're still getting divergences, even though we're kind of getting into a trend here. Um, at least at this point. We'll see. We'll see if we continue inside of regression here. I'd love to give you guys details on exactly what we're providing, but it would be the same specs that I use in my VPS. And most importantly, connection speed. So we're really targeting getting a competitive price point for under 2,000 microseconds. So we're working on that. So I don't have anything in concrete yet, but this is something that I'm pretty excited about because I think it's going to help a lot of people out. And of course, with the semi-automated trading nature that this is, using a VPS in traditional discretionary trading does not really provide an advantage because your latency to the VPS is still present. But I think that with the automated trading, you do have that. That's not a factor. Of course, you have the delay from switching to trend and regression, and the delay from when you arm the strategy. But once you have those factors dialed in, which I don't think that latency will ever be an issue on that. The strategy is basically operating two microseconds away from the market at all times, which is very, very nice. It feels very crisp, and you're able to get controls that sometimes can be pretty alien without one. We may do some sort of refundable deposit system because I actually have to buy the servers themselves, which will be pretty pricey. So and I will likely take out a business loan for that just because I think that'll make it better for everyone. But if we put down a refundable deposit, I think that'll help a lot in getting the ball rolling at a later date. Of course, I'll have the purchase agreements in place and we'll have a set date on that. But if we end up going the VPS route, providing it for you guys, we'll have that, and you'll get if you put down a deposit, you'll get a discount as well as priority because there'll be a limited number of slots. Just got into a long trade here. End up winning that one at 3,300 on the day. Hey, Mohammed, if you want the template, it's going to be in the download for Polarity ML. It's inside there. You can see here we've been getting quite a bit of chomp around this zone. We've been in regression mode for a pretty long time. But we just got filled into a short trade here, so that's nice. There we go, up to 3,500 on the day now, very close to our profit target now. Vicus, there would not be a scalability issue if we had the same 100 VPS servers. So we would, it's not like we'd be limited to the bandwidth of just one VPS server. So if we opened up more slots, we'd be buying more hardware, and we'd be increasing the bandwidth too. So it doesn't matter if they're in the same location; they'd still be having their own routing. We wouldn't be doing it likely. I think that VPS is probably the wrong word for it. I'd say that dedicated server is the correct word. Everyone would be getting a slot on their own server. Of course, that's subject to change depending on what kind of performance we could extract from a VPS, but we want to be able to provide the same level as Hey, Adrian. So on ES, I am using a tick chart rather than a range chart because it has been significantly better at showing ranges, strangely enough, just because ES doesn't really move enough to create new bars very often, but we do very often get a lot of ticks flowing through. So even if there's very little movement, we still get a new bar showing up, and we can reset that delta divergence calculation every time we get a new bar. If we break out of this range, we're going to switch it into trend mode just because these past few bars we've been getting high delta correlation. Yeah, there we go. So we broke that range and it closed out that zone. So we're now in trend mode. Hey, Leandro. Question was to put subtitles on after the live. I'm not sure how to do that. If my other live streams have subtitles on, that's done automatically. But if there's some kind of steps I need to take to make that change, let me know. I think that YouTube has to process the video first before it adds subtitles. My tick stacking value mark is just 1. On ES, we don't do any tick stacking, so keep that in mind. Hey, Carrick. So if you need some help on installing that NT8 backup, it's just in your control center, and then you go to Tools, Import, and then Import Backup. It's a pretty simple process. You can see here we've gotten into a few trades here, and we ended up winning them. Up to 4,400 on the day now. Here is pretty clear regression switch at this point. We had that divergence at 843 as well as this just very choppy zone inside of these derived zones that were automatically marked by the Analytica Chart 4 Plus. Hey, Damien. So your question was, I was wondering if you guys have some kind of monthly subscription-based membership option with a bit lower entry cost, something around $100. So if you're located in the United States, we have that pay over time with Shop Pay. You can pay in installments with that. So you'd be paying monthly rather than all up front if that's something you're interested in. Of course, this is unfortunately only available within the United States. if you're not within the United States, PayPal does offer some of their customers a pay over time option. I do believe you have to have a verified PayPal account for this to work, but it should be no issue if you have that. But sorry, we don't have any more flexible monthly subscriptions than that. So up to $4,600 on the day now. Doing pretty well at this point, and I don't think we've had a trade loss somehow, which is kind of ridiculous. I think it's because we don't have that stop chase, so our losses are going to be a lot more catastrophic than our gains at this point. And fortunately, we didn't run into that, but be aware of that. So we didn't have our stop chase, and having a stop chase does decrease our win rate kind of significantly, but it does increase our overall profitability over the long run. So I think that we just got pretty lucky today how it didn't hit our stop chase at all, but or our stop at all. But be aware that it's likely not going to be like that if you're using the strategy with the proper stop chase. So I'm going to answer this one extra question here, which was all in, how much do I need to get started with trading if I don't have your program? So of course you'd need to, if you were going to be trading with my trading style, which is likely why you're asking me, you'd want to get that program. And we have, it's about $525 for the stage 3 bundle with the current discount code R9B. Of course, we have you have to deal with the actual trading equity costs. So it depends if you want to go the prop firm route, which I'd actually recommend just because it's a very low entry cost and a very high gain if you can actually do it, which is just you pay a monthly subscription to trade on a sim account essentially. And if you do well enough on that sim account, they give you real money to trade with. It's a pretty great way to get into it. It's very cost effective. The other option is to trade micros. I'd recommend at least $1,500 to start on ES or NQ micros. And that'll give you a very, very strong safety cushion on those micros. And it'll just take some extra time. But anyway, thank you for the question. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I do appreciate all the support you guys have given me. And I think that's going to be it. Thank you guys.